right, so let's talk about the Certified Occupancy Specialist, COS, class and exam. I recently took both and I passed the exam with a 93, might I add. And I wanted to talk about what helped me to pass. First off, a big factor in that was the fact that this course is $995 right now. And I was like, yeah, I need to be one and done. I don't want to chance failing this class at all. So that was a big factor. So when you sign up for this course, and I did take the course and the exam online, when you sign up for this course, you are given a couple of things. So for one, you are given a copy of the HUD 4350, okay? You're given a physical copy of this. I have never seen a physical copy until I took this class. I always use the digital version, okay? And then you are also given a few workbooks as well. Now, as you can see, I have tabs on my workbooks as well as my 4350. And when you sign up for the class, they send you a video of like how to label your materials, okay? So first things first, obviously pay attention in class, pay attention and take notes. I would note that you got to come to this class with kind of a clean slate when it comes to thinking, simply because what you do at your property may not be what you are taught in this class, especially like if your property may be HOTMA, and right now this course is taught pre-HOTMA, okay? So kind of come to this class with an open mind and not like you already know everything, okay? Now, the exam is an open book exam, open book, open notes, all the things. And my recommendation would be to, instead of using your physical version of the 4350, use the digital online version, and simply because it is much easier to find what you're looking for. Like if you wanted to look up an income exclusion, you can just control find exclusions on the digital version and it'll bring that up for you. Okay, it'll bring it up for you. So I would recommend using the digital version of this, okay? So I believe you are given 5 hours to take the actual exam. So I would say take your time. Like there's no need to rush at all. When I took this exam, there were 2 case studies on my exam, and each case study took me an hour each, 1 hour each for the case studies. So I was left with 3 hours after those case studies. And I will say, when you are taking the exam, I believe the main thing that I used during the exam was the supplemental materials workbook. And simply because it has like the quick reference guide when it comes to which households get medical deductions or elderly deductions, child deductions, things like that. And then it also has step by step, when we do the case studies, it has like step 1, step 2, step 3. So I would highly recommend having this with you. If you used up all the like case study sections, make copies, because you're gonna need this during the exam. Now, a couple things that you should know during the exam. You need to know things like gross income, net income, income exclusions, inclusions, things like that. Knowing the difference between business income and assets versus if they get counted into the household. Heavily on the exclusions, because let me tell you, I feel like they'll throw in something like the living aid makes $1,000 at her job, and you need to know that you don't include living aid income. They'll have like a random, this person gets $500 a month from the Alaskan Native Indian Wildlife Fund Act of 1937, and you need to know that that may be an exclusion. So with that being said, I wouldn't recommend you trying to cheat more so and putting the questions and answers into like ChatGPT or Claude, because it's like the specifics, they gonna miss that. Chat gonna miss that. Chat gonna tell you to include that income, but you don't need to include it. So you have plenty of time. Just use your resources that you were given during the class. So in addition to the case studies, there's also a big portion of the exam. I think it's about probably like 70-ish questions, the rest of the exam after the case studies. And I told y'all I was one and done. The class costs too much. So they'll ask you a question like, where do you find the fair housing information and what you need to include when a tenant comes in for recertification? And the answer will be like, A, page 37, section B, paragraph 3, or it'll be like B, page 87, section 2, paragraph 36. So what I did is I went to each one of those answers and made sure that I was selecting the correct answer. Even if I knew that A was the correct answer, I went through B, C, and D to make sure, just to make sure, because I ain't want no problems. I wanted to pass. And I will say, the whole point behind the COS is not necessarily if you know the rules, it's knowing how to apply the rules, knowing how to evaluate a household's scenario, like their information, their income, their assets, and knowing how to calculate the household income, the rent based off the income, knowing if the household gets deductions. Like, that is the grand scheme of the whole ordeal here. And then the rest of the information outside of the case studies, like you have resources in real life, even when you're on site at your property, and you can research those things. But the gist of it is to know how to identify and know how to apply these rules. So with that being said, don't try to memorize the whole handbook. Don't try to highlight every single thing. Like, you have your resources, and you'll have your resources in real life as well. So those are just my tidbits that kind of helped me, that did help me pass this exam. And one thing I will say that I appreciate about the COS, it is higher though. It is the higher price compared to the other exams I took. But they let you use the COS letters behind your name like immediately once you pass for a whole year, as opposed to like some of the other exams and courses that I've taken, like the HCCP or the SHICM. You pay for the course and the exam, and then after, you still got to pay more money for your certificate in order to put the letters behind your name. Like, baby, like, y'all doing too much. So I do appreciate the COS for that, even though, I mean, it was like $1,000, you know. But yeah, that's just my tidbit. Check out my case study videos. If you feel like you need extra help going through case studies, I have created case studies for the people out there because I don't want y'all failing this exam. And if you did fail, I don't want y'all to fail again. So I got you. I got you.